Hey everyone, this is Wei, and thanks for joining me here once again. And I'm glad you guys can be here today because Laura, one of my subscribers, sent a really cute photo of her daughter. So I figured I'm gonna use that to do a demonstration on a portrait drawing. Now I will be using a graphite pencil and regular sketch paper, 80 pounds, so which is kind of heavy and it's got a lot of texture to it, which is nice. So let's get started and I'll talk about the process along the way. Alright, so to draw this, I'm going to draw a little bit smaller so I can hopefully finish more of this in the video. So I always like to kind of start out with the eyes. This is just my way of sketching. Okay, I mean you can do like overall, head shape first, and that works too. I'm just gonna draw just blocking the eyes because it's really cute. And then from there, I'll go up. Let's see the eyebrow. So this is gonna be really light. Yeah, it should be showing up on the video. And I go straight across the other eye. So the in between, I can tell that it's a little bit more than the width of one eye. So it's probably like somewhere over here. Okay. So really round eyes. It looks like she's looking up, and actually looks like she's been crying or something. Okay, and now with toddlers, they generally have really huge eyes. Kind of what makes them really cute. Okay, so let's see, we'll go straight down and we're gonna look at the nose. It's kind of like straight down from the corner of the eye. We go straight down. That's where our nose is. And then the angle from the corner to the probably somewhere around here. So let's just go with that. Okay, let me see. Nose, nose, nose. And this one straight down, right around there. It's the shadow area. Nostrils right around there. And obviously the nose is a lot smaller for a toddler than an adult. And then the lips looks like it's going down a little bit. There's a lot of distortion too. Let me see, straight down as a corner straight down. There's a lot of distortion on this photo. It's just because of the camera. It's a wide angle. It's kind of like taking a picture of yourself, with a cell phone. It's a very wide angle lens. Okay, so it looks like I'm probably a little bit off. The mouth should have been probably go over this side a little bit more. And the eyes looks like a little bit too small because I've drawn this a little bit too big. Alright, let's just go with it. I mean, I'll try to adjust for it as I'm sketching because I don't want to spend too much time on the lightness. Okay, I'll make the eyes a little bit bigger. Then see this. Just gonna rough in, a little pout there. Pout. Then again, the lens distortion is making her chin kind of recede a lot. Okay. So in general, I think if you draw, baby faces a little bit more pudgy and things like that, it's a little bit cuter, even if it's not, according to the reference as much. All right, so let's go to the eye. Again, I'm using a 4B pencil, graphite pencil. So I'm gonna sketch in some detail. Okay, and then the eye, nice and big. And then here it is, it's the pupil. And then for the highlight, I'm just gonna sketch a little shape like that. So I know that's the highlight and I'm not gonna go over that. So the pupil is really dark and quite large too. And I'm just gonna shade around where I made a little mark for the highlight. And then the edge, so all around the eyes a little bit darker. So I'm just gonna rough that in. And then usually the top part is a little bit darker because catches more of the eyelid. Just put this down a little bit so you can see the eye. Okay, so see how the shadowing right there really helps to give the eye more depth. Okay. pretty round, so kind of reminds me of the Gerber baby, right? For the baby food stuff. Kind of round, very round eyes. Okay, and then down. And then here is the lower lid. And this is where kind of like the eyelashes, right? But of course you can't really see it because it's just a baby. But usually this area is dark, and leave a little bit of space because see there's white space between the pupil and the lid. That's normal. If you look at the eye, that's really how it is. As the lid opens up, you know, there's a little bit of white spot, and also because the you know, your eyes is a little bit teary most of the time, so it kind of has a lot of reflection, so it stays white. There's a lot of shine to it, so. Okay, so now I'm just kind of shading this, and then here, there's always a little shadowing here. Okay, so that's one eye. Okay, and very light eyebrow. Which is how kids are. And the hair, I'm just gonna, not very exact, but just so you can give a, you know, placement, so you know where everything is. Okay, hair, let's do the other eye. Let's try to fix the placement a little bit better. Very deep eyelid. And as I'm drawing, I gotta make sure that the eye is kind of, you know, not too far off, right, from the reference. Like if I make one of them too high or too low, then it really looks to start looking weird. White here, and then again the lower lid. There. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's not bad. So I'm gonna go again, pupil, highlight. Now darken the pupil real hard, and you can see I'm turning the pencil just to get a little bit sharper edge, so I can hit it a little bit harder. Because, you know, if I keep shading in this one position of the pencil, it gets very dull, so it gets very soft, and that's very useful if you need, you know, broad strokes and stuff. Like general shading, you don't want your pencil to be too sharp, or just kind of cut a line into it. Okay, and you see me do that a lot, and you see other artists do that a lot too. Just constantly turning the pencil. That way, you kind of utilize the tip, you know, so you have multiple thickness. It's very useful. Okay, so this is pretty dark. Cutting dark. Okay. So, eyebrow, and then here is, now this area right here, remember there's a little indentation right here. This is where it flans out. That's why this area is always kind of white. So pay attention to that area. It's pretty much universal in all faces. Okay, so now I like to use the fact that it's very flat, right, the edge. Because now I can do like big broad strokes like that. Here, and here again. Eye socket, so always a little bit indentation. All right, so let's move down. Let's see the nose. Okay, let's see, move it up a little bit. Make sure my head is not in the frame. It's always a little bit difficult to draw like this because usually, you know, when you draw, you kind of put your head right over a piece of paper, right? But in this case, I can't because I'll get in front of the camera. All right, so the nostrils, there's usually like very dark right here because obviously it goes in. Okay, so once you have that, and then this area is usually pretty dark, so it casts a shadow. It's dark here. And now it's the nose is actually pretty subtle. It's not necessary. It's a very complicated shape. So right here, this is like a little, think of it as like a little sphere, okay? So that's why this area right here is dark, and then right here is dark. But you gotta make sure, let's see. Let me concentrate a little bit because I'm talking too much. Gonna miss what I was doing. Okay, so it's kind of like a sphere. So this part is darker, and you gotta make sure there's a little bit of bounce light, you know, right here, right? So this part is dark, and then this part is dark because there's a shadow here. And remember, things cast in shadow is a lot darker than things in the shade. It's like this whole nostril right here is in the shade, but it's not as dark as the shadow. And that is because this part here, even though it's in the shade, it's getting a lot of bounce light from the face, so it's a little bit lighter. Whereas the shadow is not getting any bounce light at all. All right, so now we go down, shade that. Okay. Right. All right, so let's do the lip. Very distinct shape. And right here, the corner of the lip is always dark, right? Because it's the corner of the mouth. And then you got the shape here. So even though I'm doing the line, I'm using lines here. Remember that you want to soften those up a little bit. And I'll talk about that in almost all my drawing videos, well, most of them. Because just keep in mind that the face is not hard. You know, the reason you see a line is because you see the shadows and the forms, and that's how it comes to be. There's really no lines on the face. Okay, lower lip. This part is dark. Make this a little bit darker too. And then always the lower lip as it catches the light right here. It's always dark right here, right in the middle. And there's a bulge here, okay? That's why you can see that it's a little bit lighter. So it's kind of like this. So this part is darker. And yeah, keep this lighter because there's a bulge right there. Okay. Probably made the lips a little bit too bright, not dark enough. Because it is red, it should be dark. Okay, so as you can see, I'm kind of off down here, right? But see, once I draw the lip, now I can fix that. Now I know where chin ends, right around there. Up. Let's make this a little bulbous, make it a little bit cuter. And this part, hair. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to this part. Let's redefine this face edge a little bit better. And try not to block the camera as I'm drawing this. Okay, and then let's see, right around there, shoulders. Okay, I'll just leave that for now. And then I'll just kind of frame it. So let's draw some hair. It's nice to draw a little bit of hair just to dot out some more reference points. Hair. So at this point, I'm kind of debating what should I do. Should I make it smoother with a smudge, or should I just keep this kind of sketchy look to it? So what should I do? Because it'll be a lot easier. Okay, if I smudge, it'll be a lot easier. All right, let's just smudge. Let me put down the reference. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my finger. I'm just gonna smudge it. This might be a good idea to smudge, just to give the face much softer look, which is kind of nice for kids. It's a little bit cuter. I'm just gonna smudge in some dark areas. And of course, as I smudge, you're making some of the dark areas a lot lighter. So I'm gonna have to go in and hit that again, obviously. Okay, so this is pretty dark. Okay, so this is still pretty light. Might be okay. So now is a good time to, all right, let's go in and make it a little bit darker. Make it a little bit cleaner. So at this point I can use a 4B or let's switch to a 2B. Give me a little bit more fine shading. A little bit cleaner. Do a little bit more like a precision drawing. And fill in some of the gaps that the 4B, because it's so soft, it leaves a lot of spaces in the paper. And I am using sketch paper. This is it's a little bit it's quite a bit of texture on it. Go in and crosshatch. So it's really light. So I'm not sure how dark I'm gonna get, so I don't want to go too dark. So you can see this little wiggly shapes. And if you look at it, I can show you how. I mean, it's basically this kind of shape. Right, that's how I'm shading, but very small. And the softer, very light on the hand, very light on the pencil. Don't just kind of let it fall on top of the paper. It's supposed to really pushing it down. Okay, so you can see how you can bring in a lot more detail with the slightly harder pencil, the 4B. I mean the 2B, as opposed to this. This is the 4B. Okay. Okay, so the face right here is a lot darker, and I need a softer edge. I'm just gonna rub it off so I can get a little bit of softer edge. Do that and just rub it. Now go the other way, so I don't get too many of a one directional line. Okay. Oh, amazingly, actually looks like the reference, so it wasn't too off, which is good. So now I can make this a little bit darker. This side. Now right here, the eye is very dark. This side is very dark, so I'm just gonna really push into that. And that will really make the eye pop out, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's hit this a little bit harder. A little bit more shading underneath the lids. If I wanted to, I can actually use a stump. Do it that way. Or you can use your finger for general, just smudging broad areas, or you can use a stump like this to kind of almost softening up the lines. So I know this drawing might be all over the place, but I'm just kind of playing with it, and at the same time just kind of illustrating the different things you can do. And there's really no right or wrong way of doing things. It's just whatever results that you're after. So I'm just gonna use this to soften things up. So let's see, I could probably finish the drawing later on, but now if you want to add some more detail, what you can do is just pick some areas and just add a little bit more detail. It will really make the drawing pop out. Exaggerate the eyelashes a little bit. So just by having this little detail here and there, it's gonna make your whole drawing look like it's really detailed. This is pretty dark right here. Here's dark. Okay, now there's some white spots that I'm seeing that I've kind of went in a little bit too dark. So what you can do, bringing out my trusted electric eraser, you can actually smudge it like that and make it dark, and then just erase it back out. Okay, might be a little bit hard to see here. Brush it off so you can see. I'm bringing it back, but my drawing isn't that dark to begin with, so it's not showing even though I erased it, it's not showing up as much. But if I keep going and things get darker and darker and more detail, then when I do cut it out, it will bring out the highlight very nicely. Okay, so let's work on the nose a little bit, see how far I can get. Again, very important to get that reflective look on the nose, and if it actually means to exaggerate this little right here, it's like if I make this even darker like this, even though if you look at the reference, it's probably not as extreme, it still looks normal. Right, you see this little bounce light right there? It still looks good, right? And that's the point with drawing. It's just, sometimes you're not really just wanting to, you just don't want to draw exactly. You need to exaggerate certain areas. You'll look a lot more lively. So here, let's see, I'm actually being a little bit too careful now. I feel myself kind of tightening up on my strokes, and that's not a good thing. You want to keep it loose. But as you get into more and more details, you might tighten up a little bit just like I am, and you end up spending a lot of time doing this little stuff. And I must say that's a good or bad thing, it's just a matter of how much time you want to spend on something. So now I'm using a 2B just to soften up that edge a little bit. Because the 4B is pretty rough. And it's a little bit sharper, so I'm able to get some more details in. Okay. Right. It's actually really cute. Really cute photo. That's the most important thing, is to capture that cuteness, right? When you're drawing a portrait, any kind of portrait, it's much better to capture the expression than the likeness. So now this face here is really light, and you can see what I'm doing is just barely skimming the paper, so I don't want to make it too dark. So if I want like a really clean drawing, if I keep doing this kind of little strokes, you will get a very very clean and neat drawing, if that's what you're up to. So this area I'm just gonna go a little bit darker here. Let's see, is this in frame? Okay. So this is important to make dark, because you really want to show that pout. And this is where you can exaggerate if you want, right? I mean, you can exaggerate the pout, the pout, because it's a very important feature for this face to capture that expression. I'm trying to move around so I can get a better angle with my hand. Okay, let's see this here. Here. This side of the face is actually pretty dark. All right. So usually, the darker the face is, the more time it takes, right? Because you gotta shade a lot more. That's why smudging can save a lot of time. And it looks good too sometimes. If you like that kind of soft look. Okay, so like right here, this little chin area. If you just make the body right here behind it dark, it will pop out the whole chin. And it's quite important. Smudge that. Okay. Might be a little bit odd looking right now but if I put some hair right here and make things darker, then you can see the whole side of the face come out. So the hair is very important in order to bring out the face. I'm just gonna draw a little bit quick strand like that, because I'm not sure how far I'm gonna take it out to the edge. All right, so let's clean up the lip a little bit. I'm losing some of the details here. So I'm using switching to a 2B. Right here is much darker. Alright, so I'm gonna just shade this dark. Top upper lip is usually darker. Just be mindful of the reflective light shining back onto the lip. Let's see, alright. This part right here is very dark. So I'm gonna switch back to the 4B. Get yourself a nice sharp edge. Bring out that line. Okay. I'll switch back to this. I'm going to soften everything up a little bit. Let's bring out this little corner of the mouth a little bit more. Let's continue that downward. Chin. So, I mean, right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring out the expression. You know, these little details is what's going to bring out the expression. This face is really subtle. Let's see. Okay. This part is very light. Let's be a little bit darker here. Okay, so I'm going to bring back some of the highlight on so this side of the face needs to go a little bit darker, but you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring back some of the highlight. Even on the nose. Back. Right here. Here. Okay. So I can use this and also just use the eraser, you know, just sharpen the point or something and just kind of dab it. That works too. So So that's one way of bringing things back. So if you look at this side of the face, it's a little bit weird, right? Because it really needs to be a little bit darker so that, you know, all this stuff makes a little bit sense. So you can see where I'm going though. So, you know, if I just darken this, it should look a lot better. So I'll probably push this a little bit more, probably do it off camera because I kind of show, hopefully I've shown a lot of what I wanted to show here. And at this point, it's a lot of, you know, a little bit more detail work and things like that, and it gets a little bit tedious. But that's what it takes sometimes, you know, to get a good drawing. So this is a good foundation, you know, for it to build on. It could really have a lot more possibilities. So I actually did a lot of this drawing on camera, and off camera I just kind of pushed it a little bit more and I finished it up, and this is how it looked. Okay, so thank you, Laura, for sending me such a cute and adorable picture that I couldn't resist drawing. So for any of you who wants me to consider drawing something for you for videos and stuff, you can always just go to my Facebook page, just search for Art Away, or well, actually I'll put a link somewhere in this video, and you can go directly there and just send me a message and, you know, send me your images. No promises though, you know, I might not be able to get to it, but if you send it to me, I can consider it. So well, you know, thanks for watching, and if you haven't, please do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.